Recently, I've been really enjoying getting into building watches, getting to sort of get hands-on with these movements and dials and hands and cases and putting them all together. And what I have been really enjoying recently is being able to do this with build kits, with all the parts coming, with all the tools coming, making the process a little bit easier, taking out any of the guesswork and having my hand held by these companies that put these kits together. But one thing that I haven't done with any of these builds is build a quartz watch. Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I am talking about watches. And not only am I going to build a quartz watch today, I'm also going to build a Swiss watch today from a company called B Watchmaker. They're from Switzerland. They send out Swiss-made watch kits for you to build. Now, of course, if you're not in Switzerland when you're building these kits, you can't officially call them a Swiss-made watch, but at least they are as close to a Swiss-made watch that you can build that, as far as I'm aware, is available. And they do quite a few different types of kits as well, mechanical kits and this brand new quartz build kit, a kit that is now available on Kickstarter. And I'm quite excited to not only do the build today, but also see what the sort of things they have available. And the Kickstarter campaign is going to be finishing very soon. So what I want to do right now is quickly show you their website, show you their Kickstarter campaign, show you the kit, but then of course dive into building this quartz watch. So let's check out their website first. So first of all, I just want to check out their website featuring some of their awesome mechanical kits they have available. But then I'm going to flick over to the Kickstarter that features this quartz build kit that I have for you today. Now, I'm not sure if I did mention, but this quartz build kit was sent out to me. That's why you would have seen that sponsored icon earlier in the video. But I'm also going to leave links directly to their website and of course that Kickstarter campaign. And that's where you're going to have to go to have a look if you're interested in this particular quartz build. But let's first of all look at their website featuring some Swiss-made automatic and mechanical watches. They have some really cool looking watches. I particularly like that one there, the Bong R, which I think is well, that has a different meaning here in Australia, but it has a beautiful look. Certainly has that sort of nice mechanical pilot style, which I'm certainly always attracted to. But they have a few really cool versions. I think they have a few variations of movements and cases that you can do. But let me just show you this one, because this is the one that I particularly like. Let's click on Discover. You can actually get this one for 1,700 Swiss francs. Now you do have to remember this is a Swiss-made watch that you're going to be building, so it's probably a little bit more expensive than some of the other build kits that you've seen, but there is a reason for that, because of the quality, because where they're from, and the movement choices that they use. Because this one, you'll see that it is a larger watch, being 44 millimeters, but it is because of the movement choice. It is using that caliber BW01, which I think is like a Unitas or an ETA caliber base model. And those ones aren't specifically cheap to buy if you're looking to buy them by themselves, but it's a nice looking movement. It has also been a little bit decorated specifically for B Watchmaker. So it is a pretty cool thing. And it is one of these companies that give you everything as part of it. You get all the parts of the kit, you get all the parts to then use and sort of tools to create the watches, and you also get videos and instructions as well. But of course, we're not here to look at their mechanical watches. Let's have a quick look at their Kickstarter campaign. And they are actually, well, they're sort of advertising it as their child's first watch, using it as something that's a little bit more simple, something you can do with your plus 12-year-olds, which, well, I kind of understand why they've done that, but I personally have seen this, obviously this kit in my hand. I'm about to build it, and I think it's actually just cool for us adults. So I'll leave it up to you whether you not want to buy this one for yourself or for your child. But you can see they haven't quite hit their goal yet. They're getting close, and there's 13 days to go as of the time of this recording. And I'm going to try and get this video out, well, within a day or two of actually recording. But you'll see that you get everything in the kit, and I'm going to show you that shortly. You're going to see that they are pushing this idea of you sort of doing it as a bit of a family with your children, which I certainly understand why they're doing that. But please don't feel like it's just for a child, because that's not certainly what I got the impression of when I first saw this one. But you can see it is a little bit more of a fun design. But it comes with all the bits and pieces, as well as the tools, as well as you can see there is their quartz movement. Now, being a Swiss-made watch or a Swiss movement, you'd expect a Swiss movement added to it, but they're actually using, in this case, their Miyota sort of quartz movement, which is probably going to keep the price down a little bit compared to their other prices, because as I just showed you with their mechanical watches, they're not the cheapest build kits. There's a reason for that, but I think this is a nice little entryway into this company, into this build, and you can see that the super early bird special is only 170 Swiss francs. If you miss out on that, well, then it just goes up to 190 francs, a little bit more, up to 210, as you can see what normally happens with these Kickstarter campaigns. So get in early, there's still some kits available, definitely worth checking out, but let me show you what comes with the kit next, and then of course I'm going to get into this build process for myself. So let's quickly just show you what comes in this kit so that I can then get into this build of this watch. We've got a loop surround, we've got a polishing cloth, we've got a nice little case that contains all the tools that we're going to need for this build, including a little holder, a puffer, a loop, a whole bunch of tools and bits and pieces that we're going to need to move things around and put those hands on. I think that's the hands themselves in there. And if you have any issues with the hands, you can use that. And of course, we're going to need a little bit of rodicum because that is always very handy to have. And lastly, it's one of these little phone holders because the idea is you put your mobile phone on here, you watch their instructional video as you're putting this together. So you are guided step by step by the company to put this kit together. And you're likely going to be putting this together on the mat that they provide because that gives you a nice soft surface to work on. But of course, it's the watch itself that you're probably more likely interested to see versus the tools themselves. But you can see we've got hands, we've got the movement, we've got the dial, and we've got this very cool looking case and strap all together at once. So apparently this is quite an easy and relatively quick build to do, which is probably why maybe that they are marketing towards doing it with your child. But for me, I think it just has a really cool look to it that I'm looking forward to actually wearing myself. But let's now set myself up at my desk and see how we go putting this one together. So the first thing I do want to say is that this is not going to be an instructional version or part or component of this video, because the videos that come with this kit, that come with Be Watchmaker, the ones that you can actually watch as you build, they are the instructional videos, and they're so much better than what I could do. So instead, what I'm going to do is just build it and talk to you as I do it. And let's just see how we go, shall we? Because the components come out of the kit. There's not too much to it. Half of it's sort of semi-built already. Has this nice silicone kind of feel. I'm going to cheat slightly by using a couple of the tools that I already have because, well, I'm used to using those ones, but I am going to primarily also use the tools that came with it as well. Just a couple that I'm going to use that are my own personal tools. So let's jump into this, shall we? It's going to be a little bit ad hoc. Let's just see how easy this one is. It should be relatively easy. I'm assuming we're going to be starting with the movement, and it already has a very nicely put together sort of feel to it. They're stuck between these two layers here, which, well, that's kind of cool. I haven't seen that before on a kit. And to be honest, I might actually be holding on to these. These are quite cool. Yes, those little sort of soft pieces of plastic that then trap something between. So I'm going to put that into my own little personal collection. We've got the movement here, that Miyota Quartz movement. It's already got the battery installed. So all we need to do is put the dial on. This one here is a blue version of the dial. All we got to do then is then add the hands, use these nice plastic tools that they gave us. Look how shiny that is. I hope you can see that on the video. That's a very nice shiny dial there with some nice pattern to it too. That's actually quite pleasant. And looking at the back of it, you can see those little posts there. Those posts are going to sit into these grooves here. The only thing we need to be mindful of course, is going to be the crown stem inside the watch needs to align with that. So therefore, we're going to have to put the dial on about that direction there. And taking it out of that holder made it a whole lot easier. That was probably my mistake. The problem is because I'm making this video, trying to build this at the same time and record at the same time, I'm not able to sit here and watch the videos that they're going to be releasing. Now, one thing I do want to mention, because I've learnt this previously, that there, the coil, do not touch that. If you touch that with your bare skin, you can destroy it, and then you'll have to replace it. And I've done that on a previous Quartz watch, and it was relatively easy to replace, but just keep your contact, or at least keep no contact on that particular little coil thing. No touching on this one. Now, I'm not wearing finger cots this time, which is probably a bad idea, but, well, I'm making a video and a watch at the same time. I hope you can forgive me. Next, installation of the hands. Well, this is, well, history shows, I think for me and for probably most people that are doing things like this, that this is the most difficult part of the process. And I'm going to admit, I'm going to cheat slightly, and it's not really cheating because the tool that comes with this kit, the ones that I've used before, this one here, it's designed so you can push down onto that movement, onto that hand. But I've got a tool that I bought a little while ago that I've really wanted to test. This one here. Apparently you put the movement in there and then you push these little springs down and it helps push the hands on. It doesn't help you line it up, but it does it straight down. That does not come with the kit. This comes with the kit, but I've used these before and I just want to use my new tool to see whether it works or not. So I don't have the proper movement holder, which normally fits into this little thing. So I'm just going to place that there and see how we go. As you can probably tell, this is not a professional instructional video, but let's see how this goes. Now, hands here. Let's try not to lose them as we remove them from this case. I really do like these cases. Okay, whoop, they've fallen out of there. Let's be very careful. This is the moment in time where you don't want to lose your hands. So there are our 3 hands. It definitely has a little bit of a Nautilus look to it, this particular build. So let's see how this works. I'm assuming I put it on there and then move it into there. What are your guys' thoughts? And I'm not even sure which one of these to use. This is a bit of a learning event for all of us. So it's time to put the hands on, and I'm actually going to use the tool that comes with it to push the hands on. But then I'm going to use this tool that I bought recently to then just firmly place them on this. This doesn't come with it. This comes with it. So I think a combination of the two is going to be probably the way to do it. All right, let's start with the hour hand because, well, that's the one we have to start with. Now, apologies if I get in the way of the camera. I really have to concentrate more on getting this right versus getting the filming right. Let's push that on. Right, that's sort of in place. So I'm going to now try my little tool to see if I can use this just to help firmly place it in place. Let's see if this works. Makes my life a little bit easier maybe. I think it may have. Nope, it certainly did not. That didn't work at all. Let's try again, shall we? I actually think that's firmly placed without using this new interesting tool that I have. Yeah, that looks fine, but I will just use this just quickly just to make sure it is, in fact, firmly placed. Because I know one of the things that I've had issues with in the past is that I haven't had it even enough. I've ended up leaving the hands at a slightly wrong angle, and that's caused me some issues. So let's see if just having that straight downward placement helps a little bit. Well, it certainly looks like it's in the right place. Now, I just looked at the screen of my camera, so if that was all blurry for a while, I do apologise. I am not looking at the screen, I am trying to figure out these hands. It's a bit hard to do both at once. Gives me a little bit more of appreciation for some of these channels also that do the filming and building and restorations. It's quite incredible that they can not only just do the builds or do the restorations, but also do it whilst filming. Now, I can't help thinking that this one, or this kit, is being targeted towards parents doing a thing with their children, I can imagine a few fathers with their kids having a few swear words at this point in time. Okay, so I've just noticed that I think I've bent that second little sort of, the thing that you're meant to be putting it onto. Oh, damn. Okay. Nothing against this watch, nothing against the hands, nothing against the quality, but I think I made a boo-boo. So what I'm going to have to do is just skip putting the second hand on this one because I've actually slightly bent that. My bad. I am going to say that this is a really nice screwdriver first of all. It's got a nice little bit of pattern there that helps you grab onto it. But I think it is, well, it is something that I've found before. It's not that it's just hard doing this, which it is a little bit hard. It is a bit technical. You do have to take your time. But filming it at the same time is just not a great thing to do. You know, especially since I'm not particularly good at doing any of this. It just adds another layer of complexity to this idea, which is why, again, I said at the start, this is not an instructional part of the build video. They have these amazing videos that show you how to do this. And if you take your time and if you don't film it while you're doing it, then it should come out a little bit better than what I've done. But when you get to this point, let's forget the fact that the second hand hasn't worked because, yeah, I'm too busy trying to film, get my head in underneath the camera as well, worrying about that. Also, worrying about talking at the same time because I want this to be a somewhat of an interesting video too. And so I'm trying to talk, think of things to say, plus build, plus not get frustrated. I think it's just all a little bit too much. And the other complicating factor that I have is, well, I'm using my phone whilst I'm doing this, so I can't watch the videos. All right, I've just had to go off screen to get a couple of things sorted on this. And I have to admit, I just had a bit of another look at the correspondence that I had with B Watchmaker, and I kind of forgot that this was a prototype kit, so it hasn't been fully formed yet, and there was still a few little things that were being updated, which will be updated for the production model, which is partly probably the issue that I've had with trying to put this one together. But I think off screen, actually putting a little bit more time into this one without the camera in my face and putting myself at a bit of better level, I've been able to get it looking like what the watch will end up looking like. It's got that beautiful dial, really shiny, really nice, lovely silicone strap, has that sort of almost anime sort of look to it, and I think it's going to be a great sort of wear as well. Yeah, check that out on my 17 centimeter wrist. I think that's cool. So yeah, production model might be a little bit easier to put together because I'll have all the correct parts rather than this sort of visual thing. Maybe I shouldn't have tried putting this together. Maybe I should have just shown you the kit. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry that that ended up being a little bit weird at the end, but well, there are a few more videos. Well, that way, this is strange, I got the camera at a weird angle, that way that you might want to watch next.